We'll be on to reports and announcements. Before we do that though, a new policy I'm establishing today that if you're going to address the board for either community announcements or items not on the agenda or for anything, please stand behind the podium. And if you stray from the podium, I'll remind you to go back to the podium. If you keep straying from the podium, we'll just stop at that point. So. All right, so any announcements of a community nature? Ms. Hanson, please.
I stand behind the podium, not stray from it. Just want to tell everybody, Plain Crazy Saturday will be held January 16th, and we're going to have a person come from the Ridgecrest area, as recommended by Steve Rushford, one of our board members, and her name is Eileen Shibley, founder and CEO of Monarch Incorporated, and they actually make drones to be used in the commercial industries. Flying drones over solar farms or wind farms, gas lines, and used in agriculture. So I think this will be pretty interesting to people that are into the drones. She will also address the new FAA regulations. It's kind of a gray area, I think, but hopefully we can find some common ground. Because when people are flying their drones over forest fires and the people can't get in to put the fires out, that's pretty bad. But anyway, I think it'll be an interesting program. Goes from 10 until 2, January 16th. Bill.
I'd like to make a comment. We, the East Kern Alliance, met up at Monarch in Ridgecrest a month or two ago. I did a column on it. That was fascinating. I'm telling you. This is a young company, gung-ho, do almost all their parts in-house. They've got the biggest digital printer I've ever seen to fill up that whole corner back there. And they're just really nice people, and I think anybody, regardless of how you feel about anything, you're going to miss something if you don't go to that.
Well, it's good to be informed. Yeah. I want to thank the Antelope Valley Press, Mojave Desert News, for great articles on Jill Rutan's talk last month. That was really, really great. And then, of course, Dick came in after she had talked, and everybody wanted autographs and pictures. But it was a good time to hear from her point of view. Of course, she was 16 at the time, and she says, "I didn't have a clue." But she says, "I know now that Daddy was concerned going down that runway that he may not even make it to take off." So it was heartfelt and very informative. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Any other announcements of a community nature? None seen. We'll move on to the next item, board committees. We have none currently. So item C, CEO GM report. Karina, you're going to present us with a letter?
I am. I actually have a couple of other just very brief announcements just to inform the board about. We have survived the holidays. As far as I know, all of our tenants are back to work as of yesterday. Everyone's aware that we suffered, I think everyone's aware that we suffered some pretty not insignificant wind damage just before Christmas. We've got a claim underway. AIG's been out here. They've done some assessing already. They're working with us to do some more specific assessments of buildings to try to determine what level of damage there is. So I just want to inform the board that there is a claim being processed for all the wind damage that happened. It was December 22nd, I believe was the date. And in addition, something else that's come up with insurance unrelated to the wind event. We had an AIG rep out here to do just a general evaluation or risk assessment, pretty high level. One of the things they came back with was some recommendations for the restaurant to do some additional maintenance and servicing of their cooking equipment. So I'm prepared to present this information to the restaurant operator and let them know that the insurance agent has come back with this, ask if he's willing to incorporate this into his normal course of business. Duncan's recommendation is that we, when I present this to the board after having that conversation, that the board adopt a resolution making this a formal requirement, just so you're aware that this is Duncan's recommendation. So we'll discuss this at the next meeting. And then the other item is the Mojave Public Utility District letter and contract and amendment that they've provided to us. We've had an ongoing dialogue with the general manager of MPUD on this issue for several months now, And I've requested him to send us formally what it is he's requesting, and this is what you have in front of you today. I want to just to present this to the board so you have some time to read and go through it. But at some point, we'll have to actually make a decision, or the board's going to have to make a decision as far as what you want to do with this request.
It's on the agenda for action.
Nope. Well,
Just
all
a
we're-
announcement.
all we're doing today is just presenting to the board members. Although I would like to form an ad hoc committee to take a look at this and do some internal discussions with the staff, and then potentially some external discussions with input. And I'd like to appoint Director Balentine, Director Evans, if they'd be willing to serve on this ad hoc committee to look into this issue with input.
Okay.
Sure. And then we can, they can come back with some ideas and recommendations. All right, next item is the Board of Directors. I'll kick that off with, I'd like to, we've said it's Mr. Stu Witt's last board meeting here. Personally, I'd like to add my thanks to many other folks for your many years of service here at the airport. And on behalf of the Board of Directors, thank you for that service and wish you well in the future. I'm sure some other folks may want to say some things, but thank you very much.
Think so.
Amen.
Any other director?
Amen again.
Well, I think we're gonna hear it, but yeah, job well done. You exceeded my expectations. When we hired you, we were trying to replace Dan, who we thought was an icon, and did a very good job with the airport. You by far exceeded our expectations.
It's been a real pleasure.
All right, next item. Public comment on items not on the agenda. Do we have any public comment on items not on the agenda? None seen. Okay, so before we move into the election of officers, I want to make a quick announcement. So this will be my last meeting as the president and one of my few last meetings on the board. So I have a foreseen future conflict of interest coming up. And so once that gets all sorted out in terms of dates and details and all that kind of stuff, then I'll be resigning from the board. I'm anticipating somewhere between 30 and 60 days. So that should not come as a surprise to anybody when that does indeed happen. But I'd like to say again, thanks to all the board members that I've served with in the community.
Thank you.
And,
Thank you.
yeah, and so it'll be relatively short notice once this scenario pans out. But yeah, again, it'll be probably 30 to 60 days. But just so that there's not any surprise from the community that's for some unknown reason. All right, with that having been said, it's time for election of officers. Do I have anybody who wants to make a nomination?
I'd like to make a slate nomination.
Okay,
Director Evans as chair, Director Drees as vice chair, Director Balentine as secretary, Director Painter as treasurer. And that being said, I'd like to ask that nominations be closed and unanimous vote cast in favor of the slate.
I'll second that motion.
okay. Any questions? Any comments from you guys? Any public comment? Okay, all in favor of the nomination as stated?
Aye.
Aye, okay, unanimous approval then. So, Director Evans is the new president of the Board of Directors. Director Deaver, vice president. Director Balentine, secretary. And Director Painter as treasurer. Excellent.
How's Director Painter doing? What was the last?
I
She in a
talked,
rest home?
yes, she's out of the hospital and in a, I don't know,
Intermediate care?
Yeah, yeah. and she's improving every day. I talked to her son this morning, Steve, and the drain is out, and she's got a great sense of humor, and he travels back and forth from up north down here, a 6.5 hour drive, and then Wynn's daughter Pam is staying with Wynn, and so they're doing well as a family, and things are working out, and she's improving every day, so.
Good.
All right, with that, we'll adjourn into closed session. We will be coming out of closed session for a closed session report and also possibly one new business item as indicated. We'll adjourn into closed session.